I swear, every time I start a video, this cricket over here wants to start chirping up a storm. Must have a din back there. Here, let's see if we can take this outside. That thing is just so annoying. Alright, so what are we doing today? We are going to talk about the Husqvarna 120 Mark II with a 14-inch bar. It comes with a 16-inch option. This was all they had left in pretty much a 50-mile radius for any of these chainsaws. So this is the one I got, which was the 14-inch bar. And as you can go back and look at my other videos, I've had nothing but problems with chainsaws. This one is no exception. Right out of the box it was dying. After a couple of cuts it would die. I've adjusted the idle with a T-screw. It seems to be working a little bit better. It still dies, particularly when it's at an angle or on its side and I'm doing horizontal cuts. So I don't know if that's an issue with the fuel filter that's inside not shifting around to catch the gas and it's cutting off, because it'll fire right back up almost immediately. And I'm unsure if it's also potentially overheating, because I can feel the heat coming off of it, and it also has a tendency to smoke a little bit off the muffler. And what I'm finding with this particular one, and it's not like this on my brother's who has this exact same chainsaw, but this thing sprays so much oil. As you can see, there's oil here from where we were using it yesterday and working on the chainsaw, trying to figure out why it was cutting off. So let me go ahead and get into this real quick. You can see all that gunk right here, and all of that is from doing a couple of test cuts after we were tinkering with it. And this is excessive oil. You see the oil there, the oil on the bottom, oil here. It's just gunking up, okay? And what's happening is right in here, I don't know if you can see that. You see this big, huge, see where my fingertip is? That huge gap right in here between this plastic. Huge gap right here. Gap right here. This is supposed to be seated. This is supposed to be seated here. And what we're finding is that this may have defective molding on here. So I don't know if it's the plate or if it's the housing for the actual chainsaw. And it's spraying oil, because your oil is supposed to be contained within here, lubricating the bar. And this thing is just spraying oil everywhere. I was covered in oil. My pants were soaked in oil. So the craftsmanship, the quality of this is just, it's crap in my opinion. I'm just going to call it what it is. Now I'm coming from a steel chainsaw to this one. And I have to say, I'm not impressed. So, a couple other things I will make mention of. This is extremely hard to engage and disengage the chain brake here. And if in an emergency situation, I'm going to have to put twice as much force on this as I would any other chainsaw that I've used. So, I don't know if that's by design or if this is just a product of possibly what's causing the binding here. I don't know. Second issue with the chain brake itself is that, you know, it's quite a far reach from the handle here. So if you've got small hands, and I've got really long fingers, if you've got small hands, you're going to have to, you know, really figure out a way to get this off conveniently or back on. A lot of people complain about the way that it starts. I've had no issue. It fires right up, no problem. Let's see, what are the other issues that I've had with this thing so far? Oh, the biggest issue I've come across so far, as far as the bar and chain is the way that it's set up. I'm not going to take this off because it's a real pain in the butt, and that's part of the problem. So when you pop these off, you have your clutch. Your clutch is fully exposed, okay? Now, the issue with fully exposed clutch is that the chain goes back on the back side of the clutch on the gear back there, okay? And the bar also goes up underneath the clutch. The problem is you've got to get the chain over the bar, but you have to have the bar the chain on the bar in order to get the bar underneath the clutch. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough spacing in order to get the chain on the bar. So it's a real pain in the ass. Again, I'm coming from steel where the clutch is inside the body and the gear that holds the chain is on the outside. So you're not having to go around any kind of clutch system, which takes up this entire area right here to fiddle with. So that's where we're at. My official review on this is, yeah, it's readily accessible parts. You can find Husqvarna parts at any, convenience store apparently. So that could tell you something about the quality of it. If the parts are readily available, they expect you to need parts. Whereas if you go to steel, you have to go to an authorized dealer, and just tells me that the quality may be a little bit better or a little bit more regulated at a company like Steel versus a Husqvarna product. And I will tell you this here might be the chainsaw, but we do have a Husqvarna tractor, and we've had similar issues with the tractor. So from previous videos, you can go see all of the situations that we've had with the tractor and or the mower, and trying to find the parts and all that stuff for this was pretty easy, but we shouldn't have to find the parts. That's the thing. Like it should just work. So ultimately, Husqvarna as a company, as a brand, the products run. I'm going to use the chainsaw. It's partially defective, but a little oil spray on me here and there is okay. I need a chainsaw right now, so I don't really have the option. But if you're looking for a chainsaw, you might consider not going cheap. This was, I think I paid $185 for this out the door, whereas you can go up another $50 and get a different brand at a little bit better quality. So you might want to think about that when you're looking for your chainsaw. But anyway, like I said, it's a necessity for me right now. My steel is down. I have a mystery issue with that I'll have a video up on a little bit later on. So anyway, Husqvarna 120 Mark II. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. And that's simply because out of the box problems. This is the second one I've had. First one out of the box, major oil just dripping out. Wouldn't stay running. So out of the box, there are problems. There are adjustments that have to be made. And that's from multiple sources. If you don't believe me, get on Google, look it up. You will find I am not the only one in this world that has those same problems. So, alright, well, on to the next.